the fathers to be. Remember, fatherhood or motherhood is not just the womb that gave birth to you or the man from whom you came, but then the one that have the responsibility to be a father. A few years back, one of my son, I was planning to take him to the US. And when I say my son, as a pastor, every child in the church is mine. I'm their spiritual father. I have the privilege under heaven to father them, and I have a responsibility to them. I've said that to my family. I said it to my children. Your father is a father to everybody. So don't come to church and be pulling him. No, every child have access. He's a father to all. And so, I want to pull out today this key area that men, because of time, that men have been battling with. So if you are a young man growing up, you are coming into it. So pay attention. This is your matter. This is your issue. It has to do with you. And whoever you are, as long as you are a male, I mean, that's your role. That's your work. Get ready, get prepared. You will raise many children that are not even yours. How many have I raised in the church? It's amazing. In fact, there was a time that my son had to ask me that, it looked like you love outsiders more than us. I said, no, it's not like that. You are even closer, you are here, but I have a role towards people. I was taking that boy to the US, and my car broke down. For weeks, I didn't have a car. Yet, how much will it take to fix the problem of the car? I used more than 5 times that amount to prepare for him to go to America. I left my car. I even had to go and take a car from a reverend father, a Catholic reverend father, to bring him from Kaduna to the airport in Abuja. And on our way, he asked me, he said, sir, you are not my father. Why did you do all this? I say, the society made you to believe I am not. I say, but I am more of your father than your biological father. I say, you know why? As a spiritual father, I stand in the place of God over your life. And I've always said this, earthly fathers can fail. Spiritual fathers must not fail. When spiritual fathers fail, then the society will be hopeless. And that's where we are now. Many pastors have thrown away this responsibility and think the pastoral job is to make money and to trade to people how much money you have made. No, sincerely, the work of God is a call to sacrifice. If you are looking for money, you are in the wrong job. I don't believe in all this publication of the richest pastor, the cheapest pastor. It's actually wrong from my own theology to call a pastor the richest pastor. A pastor becomes rich when there is no poor people on earth anymore. I know the church and members, they are clapping. My pastor is the richest. My pastor have this. Yet you are his flock and you are struggling to survive. And the Bible says a good shepherd does what? Lay down even his own life for his sheep. How many times have I kept resources to use for something and I had to put it somewhere? As I talk to you now, I'm raising money for my ticket. Yesterday, my pastor called me from Kaduna. Daddy, we have an issue. So person need blood now and all of that. And we can't get blood to donate. Guess what I told him? Run around all the private hospitals. Kaduna. He says, sir, they are expensive. I say, I will pay for it. I'm no longer thinking of my ticket. I'm no longer thinking I promised my agent. I am now concerned that a life under me must not be lost. I know this is not the general trend, but this is what I read in the Bible. And this is what I want to celebrate. A good shepherd must at all times do what? Lay down even his life for the sheep. So I told him, I said, to believe that your relationship with me is just to come to church and go back home. I said, no, that's not. All my years as a pastor in Kaduna, men that passed away, maybe 2 of them, and left their children behind, I took over responsibility. I began to pay their fee. I made sure they went through, and I will pay their fee even before I pay for my own children. I made sure none of them drop out of school because their parents passed on. No. That's the responsibility. In anybody who want to be a pastor here, who is preparing for this job, as long as I'm concerned, let me give you the right message. The day you sign up for this job, you take out your life and you hand it over. You now begin to live a life for the people of God. That was the first condition God said when he chose the Levite. From today, he said, now I, the Lord, I am their portion. Even when you get to the promised land that they have heard about, there will be no state called the Levite state. Every other tribe will have a state. The Levite will have no state. What do? Distribute them among their brothers and take care of them. I believe the church have a responsibility to take care of the ministers. Don't pay them, don't give them money, but take care of their welfare. I don't believe a pastor should be thrown out because he can't pay his rent. What's the church doing? But beyond that, it's not in pastoral work to begin to struggle like everybody is struggling. I need a Lexus. I need a Jeep. If that is what you want, you should have left the job. I would have taken the job in Shell when I graduated if that's what I wanted. When you sign to serve God, you sign up for a life of sacrifice. And it won't be convenient. No, it won't. So I told him, I said, you don't just know that I'm your father. I said, but I am. And when I met him in the US, he looked at me, he said, sir, when I lost my biological parent, he lost his dad and his mom a year at interval when he finished secondary school. And he said, sir, I cried and cried and thought life was over. He said, it's so painful that I lost my parent. He said, but losing my parent made me to meet you. He said, you remain the father that I never had. You gave me what Christianity can mean. We have made people to lost picture of what true Christianity is all about. And they have taken us for fraud. Because we don't even understand. Some of you don't even know how connected you are to me. You don't even know that my relationship with you is one that will be answerable to God. And even if the biological fathers are failing, God knows that there is somebody that must not fail. And so, for every male child here, you are a father in the making. And the truth is, be a man. God made you. And I like every one of us to take this lesson. Male or female, you didn't choose what you are today. You never even chose to be a Nigerian. God made you a Nigerian. Perhaps if I was given opportunity by what I know today, I would choose to be an Israeli. I love that. I love that country, and I wish I can be a Hebrew. But God saw that you are better. And do you know one thing, that the best you can be is what God made you? Psalm 139 verse 14. You were fearfully, he didn't just carry you and he just knock you together. No, you were fearfully. Even God was putting you together with caution. That's God that can never make mistake. Fearfully and wonderfully. God put everything he has into making who you are. So you couldn't have been better as a man. You are better as a woman, being a woman. I couldn't have been better as a woman. I am better as a man. So the first thing to recognize is that God made me who I am, and he made me wonderfully. He didn't ask for my choice. It wasn't a subject of debate. I was not born because my father wanted a child. The choice that heaven made, the decision that heaven made, and God made me. So, take the garden and ask the man to take over. Verse 15, Genesis 2:15. God planted the garden, then God took the man and put him in the garden to do what? To tend and to do what? And he didn't put him there to sit down and be eating. No.